thank you so much for joining me. Right now, I'm recording this on members only. I'll probably release it to the general public soon, but that's the great thing about being a member is you get to see things sometimes sooner than everybody else. Kind of gives you an opportunity to see what I'm up to. So today I'm doing the peanuts. I love this new, I don't know if you saw my video yesterday. I was unboxing my craft haul with my peanuts, new peanuts transfers, and I was so excited. I had to make this cute little shirt with a craft store shirt, and look at, I've already painted in, watercolored in a little sweet little wood stock there. And now I'm going to see how much I can get done in about a half an hour. We're going to do Snoopy and then that little flower there too. So that's what we're going to do. It says Grow Happiness. It is such a cute shirt. I can't wait to wear it. So I have to kind of hurry up and get this done so I can do it. But so I've got my ink mat in here. It's a sticky mat that we carry, and I have that in here so I can just paint on it. We're using our water or our non-toxic ink, and I'm going to use bright white for Snoopy today. And you could leave this just as is. I use black ink, and then I did go ahead and set this with an iron and parchment paper yesterday. And you could leave it just like that. Like I just did this in one solid color, Positive Vibes, and it's got the whole gang on there, the whole Snoopy and Peanuts gang on there. But I don't know. I keep thinking I need to color this one in since it's, Grow Happiness, got a little flower. I feel like the flower needs to have a little bit of, extra. So that is what I'm up to today. So I am using our non-toxic permanent ink. And so you can use this indoors. It doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to squirt, spritz a little bit of water, distilled water into the lid so that I can use my paintbrush in it. Mostly because I like to use my paintbrushes a little bit wet. And then I actually am finding that it's a little easier to use the ink if it's a little bit more wet. I need to maybe put this aside because I don't want it falling on my shirt. You don't want to sprinkle any onto the shirt. If you see me picking up little things, I'm not crazy. I'm just trying to pick up the little pieces of white like that came off the jar. So I'm going to start out with this really fine tip brush. And if you haven't watched me before, you might know, and actually woodstock is still wet, so I need to keep my hand out of woodstock. So whenever you're working with ink, make sure that you have plenty of, like wipes and things to kind of clean up after yourself. If you make a boo-boo with ink, this is permanent. So some colors are definitely going to make a spot. But if you can catch it while it's still wet, it will wipe off with just plain water. So that's what I usually try to do. And what I found is I add a little bit of water to my brush and add a little to, get into the ink and then try to get in the lines. I have carpal tunnel, like I was saying. If you've watched me a little bit, you know that I have carpal tunnel from playing piano. Years and years of playing piano. Possibly the wrong way, maybe. I don't know. I try to prevent all my... I do teach piano lessons, and whenever I teach piano lessons, I do try to teach the kids proper ways to play piano without hurting your wrists. But it's hard because piano playing, I don't know. It's hard not to play really tightly. It's hard to play loose, which is what you need. So I'm just kind of going here. You could oops, I just went outside. You could go so. I just went a little bit outside the line or on the line there, and to clean it up, I just pat it with a wet wipe like that, and it comes off, but it also takes off a little bit of what I painted inside the lines, of course. So I don't want to try to get outside the line too much, but if it happens, it's no big deal. It is fixable, totally fixable, either by dabbing it off. Like I said, this black ink is actually permanent. I went ahead and waited for it to dry completely, and then I took a hot press and pressed it out with a little bit of a parchment paper. So I'm telling you, painting is not the easiest thing, but it can be a little bit relaxing if you're not worried about your hand falling asleep. So I'm just trying to go like inside the lines here so that I don't have to go over it. Let's say you're not very good at getting inside the lines, and that could be, you could always go and lay the transfer back down. Thanks. And actually, I'm seeing where I got too wet with my little wood stock, and it kind of went outside the lines even. So it's actually spreading a little bit on his tail. Right. See if I can get a wipe in here and wipe that up. The black is not going to come off because that is heat press. So the only part with water that will come off. And the problem with adding water to it is it does spread it a little bit. So I guess the moral of the story is you don't want to go too far. You can just kind of get the inside, not too much water. So it's kind of a little bit of a trick. This might be, you know, a little more advanced tricks as far as paint, you know, trying to paint in the lines here. And if you're great at painting in the lines, that's great. All the more power to you. I'm not really great at it, so I'm just doing the best I can. And I think I'm kind of learning here just to go a little bit inside of the black lines so that it doesn't go outside the black lines. But Snoopy's, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dry this so it doesn't spread anymore. So make sure you say hi and subscribe and do all those things. But if you're here on the members channel, you probably, my little wood stock is not looking so great. I think I need to go a little less when I'm painting. I'm living and learning, so I'm helping you out here. So less water, more paint, I think is what we're gonna go with here to get it painted in. I just want it to stop spreading. What happens is if you put too much water into it, it actually like wicks it out. So that's what's happening on his tail. I don't know if you can see that, but let me show you that. See how it's like wicking out as we speak? And that I'm living, like I said, I'm figuring things out yet. I'm not completely good at it. But see, I do think that it is too dry in my paste or in my ink to get it to spread. So I'm trying to find like a little bit of paste, a little bit of water, not too much water so it doesn't spread. So that's the key. And I think with that yellow, I was just kind of going a little bit far with the water. Like I said, my daughter woke up this morning and she said, why is it the most comfortable position to sleep? Because that's one of the things that causes carpal tunnel. Is like sleeping with your hand crooked like that all night long. Then your hands fall asleep. What it does is it like cuts off the circulation to your in your carpals, caught in that tunnel, and then causing it to go to sleep. But then over time, what that does is causes the carpal tunnel. So just trying to fill in this main part. I got it kind of watered down. It's a fine line between enough water and too much water. So be sure you play around with this a little bit before you color in, because you don't want it to be, and I think this Snoopy is just going to be a little bit easier to color in because his lines are way thicker than Woodstock's. But boy, he looks a little yellow. I don't know if I like that. I'm upset about that. I didn't know that was going to happen. I did that before I started here today and, you know, did a little recording of it to see. And now it's kind of stuck. Once it dries, it is permanent. So you want to be careful if you want to change something. What I was going to say was the other thing you could do is go ahead and lay the transfer back over and do the black outline again to make your lines cleaner, if that's what you need to do. If you find that you don't like it, every time that I've laid it back down, it seems like an extra step that you don't really need to do, but it really does add to it. It makes it look nice and crisp. Let's see if my wider one will work here. This one seems so fine. It's hard to paint with it. I don't know. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be okay. See, I've been avoiding doing, because a lot of people have been figuring out how to do the color of the flesh for Charlie Brown's face and for Lucy, and I have been avoiding doing it for this reason. So because I don't like coloring in. It definitely hurts my hands. Taking this bigger brush and going back over it and kind of brushing it a little bit actually makes it look a little cleaner. What do you think? Is it looking like what you would imagine Snoopy would be? And see, this is really thick. It almost, I'm almost thinking it might look better to just go back over it with the black. Every time I do the double one, like I've done it for butterflies, where you do the black outline for our botanical butterflies and then color it in and then go back over it with the black again. Actually, you could do it in a lighter color to give you the outlines and then go over it with your inner color. So really, like the Tiffany butterflies would be beautiful that way. But a lot of times I think I could get away with it without having to do. I think he's getting transformed. What do you think? I think he's turning out. Got a little piece of hair here coming out. I'm trying to be patient. You guys know it's not my forte to be patient. And I think that's probably the biggest, most difficult thing about using the paintbrush on painting in the lines. Maybe if you love to color, put color down below. If you love to do coloring, love to hear what are your tricks for staying in the lines. But this could, like I said, that method of doing the original picture twice, it does really pay off. Here's a dumb question. Is his nose white too? I don't know. I don't know. See, I think it might actually be beneficial to come back in and do the black over again. At least on Snoopy, so that it's nice and clean. Because you could kind of see where I went over. Oops. That is a little thick there. Well, and there's like the other thing you want to work towards is making it look nice and smooth. The fact is whoops, I'm going to go over his mouth. I'm going to go over him again. So stay tuned. I've got more processes on this. The fact is that it's hard to you want it to look nice and smooth. So you do want to go over a little bit to get it nice and smoothly put on. That's why I got out the bigger brush, so I could do that. I this is not good. I've been playing piano a lot too, so that's part of it. Oops, that was a lot of water. A bigger brush can definitely pick up a lot of water. I should have put it into the paint first. So you could see, like, I went outside the lines a little bit. So if you go on this first, you could actually very much so put this in almost white, you know, like put Snoopy in white. You could change out colors when you're doing the transfer, or if you want to do it quicker, you know, do it just, you know, you could do Snoopy in white and do Woodstock in the yellow, the bumblebee, and then come back and do the black. But since I know, now I don't have to, since I know I'm coming back, and I think I need to get some of this dry here in the middle because I don't want it to spread. I know that it's very wet there. So if you know you get too much water in the spot, go ahead and dry it right away so that it stops spreading. And while you're working on it, it like does soak right into the fabric. So it's kind of, you know, working as a wick a little bit. I don't know, I can't decide if Snoopy's nose is white or not. His nose white. This is his, I think this is the signature for Schultz. I think we're gonna just trying to get this one area done, but I'm gonna take it down here in white. So the quick and easy way to do the t-shirt is one solid color, my personal opinion. You could even like do this one in yellow and this, you know, do the grass and green, whatever. If you wanted to go that, you know, be that complicated. And do it just the first. But then if you watercolor in to make the lines look nice and clean, like you can see, this is, when you see that, it's pretty blurry there by his ear. I've kind of gone over and overlapped it a little bit. And that's on purpose because I want to come back over this with the black and I'll put the lines back on. I could kind of see, it looks like his forehead is a little, whoa, don't put the t-shirt in the lid. Always be conscientious of where your lid and your jar are. I only know this from experience because I have accidentally stuck it in both. So I'm just going to go over his eye here. Just go ahead and go over it. I can't decide. Should I do his nose in white? Might be it. Okay. So we got that done. Now we are going to work on, I'm going to do the little leaves in the flower. Whoops. Making a mess over here with ink. Oh, shoot. I got it on the shirt, of course. Get this out of here. I like dumped the water. Now I have a mess to clean up. I got a little bit right on the sleeve where I dripped it, so I'm going to right away wipe it, and once it dries, you won't even notice it there. It totally came off. Thankfully, that was nice and watered down. Okay. I don't know if I can get some of this out of here before it dries too much. I don't want to put a... It's kind of a mess. Now, when I'm wiping, I'm trying to wipe it towards the tail here. I don't know if you can see that, but all right. Let me show you that again. So you can see it's kind of blurry. My little tail on Woodstock is a little blurry, but I think it's going to be okay. I'm just going to deal with it. So next we're going to do this little, the little leaves. There's just two little tiny leaves here. Let's get our brushes washed off. Just spray some water and then keep, ooh, it's stuck to my mat. Nice. keep wiping my brush so I get it clean on the wipe. Not the best way. Water, obviously, running water is easier to clean brushes, but it'll do. It'll do. Okay, so I'm going to use this. This is Regal. I'm going to use that for the flower, and then I've got Pesto for the greens because I think they're very pretty. So we're going to try to get it open, first of all. I'm not very strong. And you see, I'm sorry it's off camera, but I'm opening it off camera on purpose. Because I want it to. So I got a little water in there. Just going to pick it up here with the brush. The brush is already kind of softened up. And actually, I'm seeing a little bit of white in here right off the bat. And I'm just going to go ahead and get the green done with Pesto here. And I'm not going to worry about that middle line. I will redo that again with the transfer a second time. So we'll be grabbing the transfer out here. Stay tuned. So like I said, you could do this t-shirt in one color in less than 20 minutes. It really is that easy and simple. And I think that's all I'm going to do in green. I'm just not going to, overthink it. I'm going to keep it simple. What they say, keep it simple, stupid, right? Keep it simple. We're not going to do a whole bunch of different colors, but I did, Woodstock is yellow for sure. Now he's smeared yellow everywhere. But I think if I go over it with the black, it's just going to clean it up. And then I am going to, shoot this. I want to make sure this starts to get dry here make sure it doesn't do what Woodstock did. So I'm just going to dry it really quick and see if that helps out. So under 20 minutes so far, and we've done Snoopy, which was big. Look, it's almost the size of my hand. Charlie Brown is so adorable, but I kind of think Charlie Brown needs to be colored in. So I thought I would try these smaller areas and try to figure it out. And honestly, it's okay. I don't know everything quite yet. I'm still working on my skills for painting with ink. I'm definitely better at it if I can do just one solid color. I think you can tape off on a t-shirt, do a square if you want. You don't have to. All right, trying to get that off. Now we'll get the Regal open. The cool thing is when you do watercolors with either paste or ink, either one, you just use the bits that are in the lid, which is kind of nice. It uses every last bit of your. All right, here we go. We're gonna, I guess I could have done yellow in the middle of the flower. There's a little bit. Let's see if we can. And again, I'm gonna do my best not to go outside. This is a little thinner, so I'm gonna stay away from the water a little bit on this. This is a thinner black line around the outside edge. So I'm just gonna try to get it on the inside and not worry about the inside black lines, but around the outside for sure I want to stay in the lines, not go outside. But if they're not, looking crisp on the inside, that's okay. We're going to just go over it, all over the entire thing for a finishing off of it. So if you're wanting to see some of the other t-shirts, just go on my channel. I love making t-shirts. It's probably one of my favorite things to do, but I usually try to do things either in one or, just try to keep it as simple as I can. I don't try to go too hard on, doing all the creative stuff, but because what'll happen is we wore these t-shirts around. Everybody loves these t-shirts. And then I'll start getting orders for them, which is fine. That's the goal, but I don't want to get orders for doing all kinds. Oops, that one I went outside the line. I'm talking too much. I don't want to get orders for doing all these colors because this makes me nervous, especially with my painting skills not so good. My painting skills are definitely lacking. It's not my. I love the fact that I don't need to know how to paint when I use chalk couture. So when I use the transfers and the chalk paint. I don't need to know, you know, it can look nice and professional without being able to paint in the lines. That's my kind of painting. So kind of excited. I'm doing this whole flower. I love to be economical about my craft supplies and get as much as I possibly can from it. And this is amazing that I'm able to just use what's in the lid for this and not even dip into the jar at all for more ink. This one is Regal is the color. The other one was Pesto. The yellow is called Bumblebee. And I know somebody was making more of a mustard or color. And I think the Bumblebee is perfect for Woodstock. I haven't used Bumblebee in a long time. I guess I do use it more in the summer, the yellows. I don't use yellows all, you know, winter long. All right. I think we did pretty good getting that inside the lines. What do you think? Doesn't that look cute? I think that was a good color. That was Regal. I'm going to shut it outside the lot, you know, away from my thing, put it away in my, I have all my inks in a different container so that, and then we're going to dry that a little bit so that we can, see, this still looks wet right up here to me. I think it works better if it's just a thicker consistency. Oops. My brush rolled off on the floor. Excuse me. I don't want the ink on the floor, so just my floors are really dirty. I need summer to come on full-fledged so I can feel warm enough to do my wash and sweep my floors. Of course, I would have to find them as well. Just getting this nice and dry, especially this flower part. And this will probably partially heat set it as well. It'll be, you know, a purple is harder to get off the brush, I'm not gonna lie. Keeps just getting there. I don't know, we may have wrecked our little Woodstock here. Oh well. Operator issues we can blame it on, right? Operator issues. It just happens. All right, let me show you that before we get the black on there. Take a look. Isn't that cute? And of course, you know, I think once this dries, you're not going to notice that as much. He does have a lighter head here. I might need to, I'm going to get some more. I think I'm going to put some more on his forehead. Get my wide brush out and see if I can't get some more of this water or this white painted on his forehead here. Because I think, I don't know, he doesn't need to look, it sort of makes it look like he's balding, in my opinion. That place. It just looks that much lighter. I think I just got too much water up there and it watered it down. So but now it's going on pretty thin. Still a little bit of water here, so I'm just gonna smooth it out. If it looks really thick, which my white might be a little bit on the thick side, too thick. If it looks too thick, just water it down. Just a tad. I'm grabbing a little bit and just trying to spread it out so you don't see the brush stroke so much. All right. Now we need to dry that up because when we put that transfer on there, it it might peel it back up if it's still very wet. So this, we're gonna sit and dry really good. trying to multitask. I'm not so good at it today. Do one thing with one hand, dry with one hand, and grab a wipe with the other. I think that looks better. Otherwise, it looks like you had a bald spot there, in my opinion. That's what it looked like to me. The other thing I could do is put a piece of parchment paper over it, probably give it a good, a press, not an iron, a press, to get that dried up. I just don't want it to peel up and have, crackles in it. Of course, we could fix the middle part. See how this goes. All right. Where'd we go with our... That's the next question. Where'd we go with our Snoopy? Okay, now I need to find my transfer. I know I have it out here. Thankfully, I grabbed it. Oops, that was sticky. I know what it was sticky. It was sticky where my hand went on the mat. All right, stay with me. I'm almost done. This will go really fast. Let's see if we can... If I can find it, that is. On the positive vibes. I know I brought it out here. Oh, there it is. It was so dark looking. It was so dark looking because of that. I used black ink on it yesterday. It's already colored it. Get that off of there. Try to get that brush cleaned. We don't want to leave it in there. Okay, now here's the transfer, and I'm just going to lay it back over it, and we're going to do the black part so that Snoopy has an eye, number one, and a nice clean ear. I use just the same color black on it, and so the cool thing is we can see right through here and just line it up so that black area, and some of it's white because... Oops. I don't know what happened here. Did I get... There it is. Had it tipped just a tiny bit, and that made a big difference. Whoops. Still tipped. You just want it to... It's a little complicated to get them lined up again, just because you want it to be black. Black showing through, because that's what we put through. If you had a lighter color, it wouldn't be so... You wouldn't have to be so specific with it, I think. I think that'll work. Oops, the flower is not... It's off a little bit. One is nose, because I've gone over a little bit on some of the areas, so that's the hard part to see. All right, this area. These can, because this is fabric, it is a silk transfer. It will stretch a little too. When you wash it and peel it off, it will stretch. So sometimes it's a little more difficult to get it lined up. So I'm going in the areas I didn't paint here and trying to get it nice and lined up. And it could have stretched, you know, the t-shirt could have been stretched as well. Nope, see, that took it way off. I don't need those areas. I want to make sure woodstock looks good. We want the flower to look good. We definitely want Snoopy to look good. All right, I don't have to do this little one right here, so I'm going to keep an eye on it here. And I'm going to use a mini squeegee instead of using a larger squeegee. The reason for that being, again, the little pieces that come out, sometimes they're a little bit of a pain. So you do see white through his ear. I don't know if you can see that from where you're at. Got a piece of hair stuck under this whole thing. Oh boy. All right. All right, so I'm going to pick it up and we're going to do just Snoopy. I think that'll work. It's hard because I know I want black showing through, but I've got little pieces of white going over my black, so it's kind of hard to figure out if I've done it right. So we're just going to go over and trust that we're pretty close and it'll look okay. I don't have to do his nose if I don't want to. And I definitely don't want to do this little wispy thing above because it is off. But we need his eye done. So there we go. Just a little bit. I don't know what that little wispy thing, I don't know if that means. So like Snoopy's action. He's in action. All right, I think I'm picking up. And then I'm going to go over the leaves and I'm going to leave the bottom of the leaves and just go over the flower part. And then I think woodstock is pretty good overall here. So we're going to go over woodstock. All right, hopefully that did it. And usually I'm like sort of holding my breath in my mind here, like as I'm doing this, but usually it turns out way better than I think it's going to. So check your fingers before you peel off because you don't want to put any little fingerprints when you peel it off. I know this from experience. I've done that. And then we're going to check. So the bottom part I didn't do. Let's see. Not bad. The flower's a little off. I guess I should have pulled it off. But I think he's pretty good. What do you think? Think that turned out pretty good. Not too bad for my first time watercoloring on Snoopy. I don't know. I think, given a second choice about it, I might actually not do that. Again, I might just leave it one color. I really liked it one color. So there it is. What do you think? Isn't he cute? Pretty cute. Actually, the woodstock looks really nice. The flower has a little bit of it almost looks 3D. Let me show you that. It almost looks 3D because it's a little bit off, but Snoopy, he just got thicker. Yeah, he's off. This is, it's kind of spreading a little bit. So I'm going to take, because this is so thick, I'm going to just go ahead and take and put some, and maybe it would have been better to wait till the paste is completely dry before I did the second layer of it, or third layer actually, because we put the first layer down, and the second, then watercolored it, and then did the third layer. So, I don't know. Hopefully you learned something. You can see that obviously it doesn't always turn out exactly right every single time, but I think overall, nobody's going to sit and look at it except me. I don't like woodstock's runny tail, and that is because I use too much water. So less water is better. Less water is better. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure that you subscribe and like and share this out with somebody that you might like to share with. And I'll be posting some pictures too, so I appreciate y'all. Have a very blessed day and keep on crafting.